Namaste. Hello teachers in Nepal. Nice to meet you through this online course. My name is Jaeyeob Jung and I am researching education policy at Gyeonggi Office of Education. I am also a former school teacher. Nepal is the well-known country of glory with the Himalayas, the roof of the earth, and is very friendly to Koreans. I am happy to Korean and Nepal teachers working together to think about education for our children, our countries, our prosperity, and our future. COVID-19 pandemic has made us reflect on the nature of education and the role of schools. I think there will be many difficulties in teaching with students due to the disaster situation. I hope our meaningful work will lead to results for new and better normal in our education. In this course, we will review several conceptual models for optimized learning through the use of technology. If you use these models properly, you will be able to design effective, efficient, and engaging lessons for the growth and development of students. Please remember these words of Andreas Schleier. Technology can amplify great teaching, but great technology cannot replace poor teaching. What he means is teachers themselves need to become active agents for changing when implementing and designing technology-related innovations. The first model we will look at is TPACK framework. Teaching is a complex combination of what teachers know about the content they teach, how they decide to teach that content, and the tools they use to carry out their plans. Historically, teacher education has centered on content knowledge and pedagogy as separate concerns. But some researchers are emphasizing a model: technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge are combined. Look at the diagram. You will notice that the three primary forms of knowledge are not entirely separate. In fact, the intersections of each are critical because they represent different levels of understanding. CK, content knowledge, is knowledge of subject matter concepts or principles. For example, knowing properties of geometric shapes. TK, technological knowledge, is knowledge and the use of technology, hardware, software, and resources. For example, using social media such as blogs, wikis, and Facebook. PK, pedagogical knowledge, is knowledge about the processes and practices or method of teaching and learning. For example, using scaffolding to help student meaning making and knowledge construction. The center of the diagram, we call it TPACK, represents a full understanding of how to teach with technology. Please keep in mind, this is not the same as having knowledge of each of the three primary concepts individually. Instead, the point of TPACK is to understand how to use technology to teach concepts in a way enhances student learning experiences. The second model is Turnaround Technology Integration Pedagogy and Training Model, in short TTIPP model. The TTIPP model is a problem-solving model. This model is useful when teachers are faced with selecting best strategies and materials, and they decide that they would like to try digital technologies to meet their needs. The TTIPP model unpacks the technology integration processes into 3 phases of 9 steps. This figure shows the details of the model. In phase 1 of technology integration, teachers analyze teaching and learning problems, identify current technological assets, and determine the possible technologies that might address the problems. Page 2 requires teachers to make decisions about learning objectives and how they will be assessed, how to arrange and carry out integration strategies, and how technology integration provides a relative advantage over past approaches. Page 3 is for post-instruction analysis and revisions. As teachers complete a technology-supported project with a student, teachers begin reviewing evidence of how successful the strategies and plans were in solving the identified problems. Teachers use this evidence to decide what should be changed with respect to objectives, strategies, and implementation tasks to ensure even more success next time. The third model is the substitution, augmentation, modification, redefinition framework. SAMR model is very simple model. A teacher can easily plug specific technology tools into the model's various levels. At the first level, substitution, the teacher considers whether the technology is being used to substitute traditional tools, such as a student using an interactive whiteboard to write down lecture notes instead of the traditional chalkboard. The replacement of the chalkboard with an interactive whiteboard does not change the activity that the teacher or student is doing. At the second level, augmentation, the teacher considers if the technology is used to augment a traditional activity. For example, augmentation would be having students draw a picture using a tablet PC. It gives them more options for drawing, such as adding clip art to the story when they doodle. The third level considers whether the technology tool is being used to modify a traditional classroom tool or task. An example of modification would be redesigning the task of a traditional cooperative group jigsaw. So instead of having students write their own note and share back with a smaller group, they would use Google Docs to collaborate on one large set of notes together. At the last level, the teacher considers whether the technology redefines a task. For example, instead of writing a letter to an author's publisher and hoping of a response, a classroom could tweet the author and ask to set up a Skype conversation with the author. I can show you one more example. Your student could use Evernote, OneNote, or Google Docs to take notes, share their notebooks, and collaborate in real time with other students on a topic. Without the technology of Evernote, students wouldn't be able to share their notes in real time. The SAMR model is helpful in explaining how the technology is utilized differently than traditional teaching tools. The fourth is Triple E framework. The Triple E framework is a framework designed to help educators measure how well they integrate technology tools into instruction and provide ways to help increase its use. The Triple E framework attempts to define what it looks like to effectively integrate technology tools into a lesson while supporting learning goals. The framework is based on three components: engagement in learning goals, enhancement of learning goals, and extension of learning goals. Engagement is the first measure of the framework. This component considers how the technology tools are helping students focus on the learning goals and tasks. Enhancement is the second component of the framework. Enhancement considers how technology tools help students develop an understanding of the learning goals they could not otherwise have achieved. Enhancement could mean the technology support, co-use, active learning, differentiation, personalization, higher level thinking skills, and real-world connections in ways that traditional tools could not. Extension is the third component of the framework. Extension reflects how well technology creates a bridge between classroom learning and everyday lives. How does it work? The Triple E framework is a four-step process. The first, define learning goals. The second, select an appropriate technology tool. The third, engage students with the tools by having them be active and social learners. The fourth, connect what students are learning with real-world tasks and context. The capital letters A, B, C, D, E in figure represent the different layers of technology integration. Point A, there is technology, but there is no integration occurring. For example, students are working on a fill-in-the-blank activity which the teacher printed out from the computer. Point B, the students are engaged. This is where the first E engagement is present. Students spend more time on tasks, and there is co-use, the person-to-person social use of a digital tool. This means the tool shifts the behavior of the student from passive learners to more active social learners, and students are focused on their learning goals while on a device. Point C, technology integration should enhance learning. Enhancement means the students create content to demonstrate learning. For example, playing a card game is engagement, but creating a card game is enhancement. To support enhancement, which requires pushing student critical thinking, analysis, and evaluation skills, Kahoot has developed a printable game planning template for students to create their own games. Point D, technology integration should extend learning. Extension is a result of students learning outside the class. Technology tools are available to students 24 hours and 7 days. And if you find an activity that the student think is important and relate to their technology learning needs, they will spend time outside the classroom learning. Point E represents a high level of software technology integration, wherein the technology is engaging and extending the learning goals. Finally, I would like to introduce a strategy suitable for learning in mobile environment. Mobile does not only refers to the portable computing device, but also the learning that is best used with smartphones or tablets. The 4C frameworks below is a simple, well-established starting point to decide on how to implement learning through mobiles. The first C is content. Mobile learning provides a wide array of engaging, interactive content. It can be utilized to enhance all subject matter. For example, students can watch videos, listen to recorded media, and access digital resources. It allows students to see their learning from a new perspective, enrich their learning, and gain new understanding from varied resources. The second C is using mobile learning to enhance computational skills. Applications are a key component to enhancing computational skills. A variety of applications are available in all age groups and abilities to give students real-world practice with mathematical concepts. The third C is capture. Mobile learning allows students to use devices to record sound, video, and images. For instance, students can record themselves reading a text aloud or practice delivering a speech. When students hear themselves read aloud, it can enhance fluency and build confidence. Students can record video to make a multimedia presentation or illustrate learning in an innovative and creative way. When students find and create images related to their learning, it helps them make connections, retain information, and express their learning in an innovative fashion. Therefore, students take ownership and pride in their own learning. The fourth C is communicate. A traditional curriculum allows for communication in limited capacities. A mobile learning curriculum removes those barriers. For instance, text response programs allow teachers to send student questions directly to their smartphones. Students respond, giving teachers the opportunity to provide immediate feedback. Conversely, students can ask teachers questions about unclear materials at any time or place. Students can also communicate with other students both in and out of the classroom through discussion board, text messaging, and other interactive activities. The forces of mobile learning can help teachers design experiences that are not possible without mobile solutions. It can also serve to expand the experience students can have if they do not have laptops at home or easy access to fast internet. Last year, UNESCO suggested readiness for distance learning in the following 4 categories and argued that efforts should be made to improve the quality of the following. The effectiveness of distance learning strategy is conditioned by levels of preparedness from various perspectives. The first level is technological readiness. This generally includes levels of readiness in both technological capacities of digital learning platforms or TV and radio broadcasting systems to provide curricular courses remotely to all learners. The second level is content readiness. This includes accessibility to teaching and learning materials aligned with national curricula can be delivered through online platforms, TV or radio programs, or used for printed-based home learning. Readiness of curricular content cover all grade levels and all subject areas and can be delivered to all learners often remains challenging. The third level is pedagogical and home-based learning support readiness. This includes preparedness of teachers to design and facilitate online learning, TV or radio-based distance learning, or print materials-based home learning, and availability and ability of parents or caregivers to facilitate effective home-based distance learning. Most teachers are not adequately prepared for the transition of provision of school education, and families are not ready to facilitate and monitor daily home-based learning, especially with multiple children. The last level is monitoring and evaluation readiness. This includes capacities to monitor distance learning processes, to track the access to courses and engagement, to assess learning outcomes, and to sustain immediate distance learning response for achieving long-term goals. In the context of online learning, it is critical to monitor differences in the level of participation and engagement of a student, who often have weaker self-regulation and self-organization skills. Until now, we've looked at models of how to integrate technology into class and readiness for distance learning. This is the end of the first class lecture, and the next class will look at the technology integration metrics can be applied to the high-tech classroom. Thank you for your attention.